Up for review today is this Kamopa Amber Strobe kit. Now these are on Amazon, but these aren't cheap ones, right? So they're not your standard ones that are usually pretty cheap. So I have high expectations. This is my first look. Um, so we're gonna have this together. Let's see here. Input. Looks like you have a central hub, cigarette lighter, wire and harness option, gaskets, hardware, all the usual. So I'm really curious of what's going to set these apart from, say, a cheaper kit. Because in the photos, they don't look all that special. So let's have a look. Let's see if there's anything that stands out. So some standard hardware crap. I'm going to set that aside. So right away you have a little hub, but it doesn't seem like it's sealed. So this would definitely be interior to the vehicle to kind of distribute the signal throughout the car. So normally, or the vehicle, so normally it's located centrally somewhere in the vehicle. So here we have the primary wiring harness. This is what gives it power and is your remote controller. So I will say the wiring feels a little bit nicer, but then the way it terminates is kind of, I wouldn't say there's anything special about that. You have this nice little remote. Looks like you take the screws off and then screw it into your dash and then well, I suppose that would be an issue too, huh? Because you can't mount it. There's no screw holes through here, right? So you can't just put a screw through and have it go into your dash or wherever. But it has holes for it. That's kind of stupid. I don't really... Okay, here, they did give you a little bit of two-sided stuff, but man, they could have easily have molded this to where you have the spots for the screws here. So that's okay, whatever. So your primary power and then change the mode. Here's the pigtail for power to the distribution block. Now, I guess another thing I'm noticing right away is you got all these lights going into here. It's really not stepping up in gauge at all, or stepping down, I should say. These are some pretty flimsy looking wires. LEDs don't pull a whole lot, but it's kind of interesting because I've seen higher quality wires on much cheaper kits, even though this is kind of well thought out. So of course we got the cigarette lighter and then your regular harness if you want to wire it into a fusible link or something. I'm gonna go ahead and plug this up, get that connected, and then these aren't numbered or anything. The back is metal, it feels like. The finish is, so-so. I mean, look at the blemishes on that. You can tell it was, they were just spray coated these in a hurry. It's not anodized. I see a deflector, and they better hope there's an O-ring in here for $90. I know that much. It's hard to tell. Kind of looks like there is, but it might not be. If there's not an O-ring in these and this is $90, that's a ripoff. That would be a shame, because these aren't going to last very long without O-rings. I'm going to go ahead and take a look in here because I'm curious. Because that's ridiculous if it's $90 and they don't even bother putting O-rings in there. So right away, this screw seems like it's stripped. Yeah, it's just spinning. You can actually see it. See, it's loose from the lens. That's terrible. See if this is glued, maybe? Aha, there it is. So there's a little bit of extra work that you're paying for. They glued them. So that's great, because that solves one of the biggest issues with these kits, is that you get condensation in them and then they just stop working. And now I'm wondering, was that already stripped, or did it break because the glue weakened the plastic, or or because the glue was set on the screw. And then of course this SAE, that's fake. Uh, but yeah, it looks like they used some CA glue or something in there. Let's see if I can't zoom in a little bit more. You can kind of see the glue in there. Let's grab another one. So you can see the difference between the two that I took the screw out. You see how it looks nice and clear. As soon as I tried to get those screws loose, it hazed up there, or cracked, I should say. So these just say output 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I guess that would be like your zones, kinda. So let's say that this one is 1, because I'm curious for the price. Is the lighting modes going to be like, are they going to offer a lot so that you're getting something for your money? None of these are numbered or anything, so you can keep track of that when you're installing. Not a big deal, because if you can get to this box, you can just fix your you know, how you have them wired. Not loving the really thin wires, because, you know, depending on who's installing this, if you put any significant, maybe even what you would consider reasonable amount of torque on these, just, you know, working with them, I don't know about that. So if you get these, be careful of that. I still don't know that I've seen anything that justifies the almost $100 cost of these yet, because I mean, this is just a flimsy plastic distribution block. Yes, they have this little remote, but it's not well thought out, and it's clearly the cheapest little crap they could get. This may be one of those products that, you know, they just cut every corner they could and tried to maybe roll out something that they could sell. And clearly they put some extra effort into sealing the lenses, which is nice. Alright, so we got them all wired up. I'm going to give it power here, and we'll see what it does. Alright, so initial kind of thoughts. They're bright, but the lens is kind of odd. It's got this little, what looks like reflectors cut in there, but they're really not reflecting, if that makes sense. So reflector normally pulls in some of the light and distributes it in different directions, and I can go up here and you can kind of see there's nothing unique about the spread. It's just almost like a regular, you know, just everywhere. I'm gonna turn off some lights here so you can get a better look. There we go. So you're only seeing light coming from these. You'll see, I don't see anything really spectacular about the light spread. They're going to be bright at night. Okay, so let's hit a couple lighting modes. Get this back in view here. So this, and it's blinding me, but this is a bright but very slow flash. I wouldn't even call it a strobe, it's more of a flash. Get some more lighting in here. So here's your, yeah, it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4 alternating 1, 2 pattern. This ain't a bad looking mode here. This is a hyper strobe, so it's strobing pretty fast. You're not gonna be able to see it on camera, but it looks nice in person. This one's like a slow, almost like traffic advisor kind of. This is a constant hyper strobe, and it is blinding. I mean, that is, whew, I can't even hardly look at it. Yeah, that worked pretty good. That's neat. So this is a multi-mode, like it increases the strobe rate. Probably should have recorded this in 60 frames per second, but this one seems to be going through a couple different modes. So I mean, one thing that's different now, the logic in here seems to be doing a little bit more with the timing of the lighting than some of the kits do. This one's just a alternating strobe to a different strobe pattern and back. This is like a left-right kind of pulsing. I'm gonna turn some of these away because it's almost like blinding the camera, you know, washing out the image here. That's like a alternating strobe, and then you got steady burn here, and you can kind of see what I'm talking about with the light spread. Like this deflector here, this lens kind of does a good job at blending the individual LEDs together, but don't do a whole lot from the top and bottom, and it doesn't like spread the light out in multiple directions to where it kind of, it's just bright. It just seems like a almost like a glowing lantern sort of, but it's pretty bright. And so there's the off switch here. I still do not feel like I could recommend these. I suppose if you want a kit that you're really sure is gonna not like have water issues, this might be an option for you. And it's not to say that kits like these aren't worth a little bit of money just because what they offer versus like a really, really expensive wheeling kit or something. But I just don't know, you know, it's very, like, it just seems like none of them get it just right. And they're all trying in different ways. It'd be nice to have someone come in and be competitive and, you know, check off a lot of boxes. Like if Nightlight sealed their lenses like this company does, and worked on a few other things, they would be, you know, pretty unbeatable. But the cheap wiring on here, the distribution block feels pretty, you know, cheap. It's nice that they have connectors. You don't have to hand wire them. There's some value into that. But this feels more like a, you know, like a $50, $60 deal. It doesn't feel like a $90 product to me. Even the packaging and presentation, there's, you know, very little in the way of branding or warranty cards or anything. This is it. This is all you get. It may be everything you need, but I feel like you can get most of this, aside from some of the unique patterns, you can get most of this in another kit for like half the price or less. So, but yeah, that's been my kind of unboxing and reviews on this Kamopa. This is the brand here, Kamopa kit, and right now it's on sale for $85. I don't know, you know, it just doesn't seem. It's only got one review. Aluminum base, slim design. I mean, they are kind of slim, but they're not a whole lot more slim than the other stuff. I mean, and that ain't really a big selling point for me. But yep,